Hello, welcome back to another round of TFR eSports. Here we are for the F3 division. Once again, it's round 4 of 15 here at the Circuit of Americas in Austin, Texas. I'm your main commentator, CJH, joined by my co-commentator, the multiple race winner in the F1 division, Ewan, otherwise known as Pool. But we go with Ewan here. How you doing, Ewan? And are you looking forward to another round of F3?
Yep, I'm doing good, and I'm looking forward to this one. It should be good fun. Kota is a great track for racing. It's a proper racers track, and you can really get some moves done, and overtakes do happen quite frequently around this track. So, yep, looking forward to it, and it's a short race, but that should bring some more dramatic action.
Absolutely, and it's a shorter race, slightly shorter numbers tonight as well. We're going to have 11 for the race. Vertex is just trying to get into the Red Bull as we speak. But at the minute, it's the race winner from last time out, Ladanes, who is currently on pole position here in Austin. And he's trying to catch up to Scones in the championship. This man here in the Aston Martin, he's 15 points clear of Ladanes, and it looks like we're going to have a bit of a title battle between those two in these very early stages. We've also got the likes of Veer, who's 18 points behind. He's not here tonight, so he's going to take a bit of a hit on his points tally, but then Alfie, only 18 points behind, and so too Raheem, 19 points behind. So it's all to play for here in F3, Ewan, and obviously with the lower numbers as well tonight, it means there's big points up for grabs.
Yeah, exactly. Scones has that advantage at the top of the championship early on in this season, so that's good for him. That's good to have that momentum already in this season. And meanwhile, we look at the constructors. McLaren currently leading the constructor standings by 9 points ahead of Haas, and McLaren are looking pretty solid so far in this qualifying session. Aston Martin looking the team to beat at the moment here in Kota, but it's looking like Haas is struggling already in the first few laps of this session, with Alfie not setting a lap and Sci-Fi with a little bit of a mediocre lap down in P7. So let's see what Haas can do in that fight in the constructors.
Absolutely. Here comes United, actually, across the line to go pole position with just under 3 minutes left, a 32.9 then, and that is now a tenth and a half separating the top three there. So a great lap from United to take pole position for the moment. And, well, that kind of has came out of nowhere. And just when we thought we had a two-way scrap here, Ewan, it looks like we've got a three-way fight on our hands.
Yep, that's a good lap, but it might be a little bit too early with both Scones and Ladanes still on laps, and Scones actually on lap in Sector 1, and he's a 10th up. So he's right in the ballpark here to take pole position, and Ladanes will be on a lap any moment now, but Scones is on a lap at the moment.
He is, yeah.
Going down into turn 11 and on to the very long straight. So it's a good lap for United, but Scones can reply.
Yeah, Scones is a little bit out of sync here with the others. He's gone early with his final flying lap here. He might be able to get one more lap in, but obviously with the nature of this circuit, you're not going to have much ERS to play with. He's coming up to the end of Sector 2 just here. Let's see what his times are looking like. He's on the pace at the minute. He's 61 thousandths of a second down, but you can be absolutely sure if he pushes hard enough here, he can gain that time back and more.
Yep, this is it for Scones. He needs to make this last sector work. He's got the pace, it's clear, but does he have enough to take pole position from United? Oh, he goes a bit too deep into the corner and invalidates that lap, and that is him done for qualifying here in Kota. That was a little bit just too eager in turning in turn 19, and it's all down to Ladanes then, who's 75 thousandths up on his time, and he's the one that has the right to apply to United.
Yeah, it is all about Ladanes here now, because the top three, well, two of the three are done and dusted here in Kota. Vertex has managed to get in the session. He's coming out the pit lane now, but I don't think he's got enough time. I don't quite have the time at the top left, as Ladanes is purple in the middle sector. 2 tenths up, and that is exactly what he's needing at the minute.
Yep, Ladanes is looking good, but he needs to keep the tyres alive in this last sector. It's a real limited last sector, and let's see if he can keep it clean through turn 19 where Scones couldn't. And then you've got one more corner to go, and let's see if there's enough for pole position.
Let's see, what can he do? He goes very wide at the final corner, he gets away with it, and that has cost him though. It's cost him. He improved, but not by enough. He's 55 thousandths of a second off, and well, Ledanes then will not be on pole as it stands. Raheem improves, but he stays 6th. Ollie Bean as well, he improved earlier. He stayed 4th. Top Lobster back tonight is starting a final lap, so he's still in the mix here. So too is Sci-Fi Man. There's a couple of drivers that have got to line just in time there. Vertex, sadly for him, did not make it. Alfie is out there as well in the Haas. Can the team at their home race here, Ewan, what can he pull out the bag here with a couple of corners to go?
Yeah, exactly. He needs a big lap. He's not got a lap on the board just yet. And with the Danes not getting that pole over the line, here comes Alfie Nerfboy up to the line in the Haas. He's not got a banker lap, but he gets up to P5. So it's a decent lap for Alfie Nerfboy. And he's going to be pretty happy with that. He can race from there.
That's a solid lap from Alfie there. And, well, like you say, Ewan, it keeps him in the mix. Sci-Fi has invalidated his final run. Raheem as well is on a bit of a slow lap. Todd Lobster actually says he's on an out lap for some reason. I don't think he is on an out lap because he looks like he's going along quite nicely here. So for some reason the telemetry is screwed up there, so we'll not have a clue on how this lap is looking so far, but we'll stick with it. The new driver in the Aston Martin, can he help his teammate and get up the order? Scones hasn't had a teammate all season. Is he about to get beaten by his new teammate here? He has. Look at that. He's gone third, and with a great lap there from Todd Lobster, upsets the apple cart, you'd have to say. Scones leading the championship is beaten by his teammate on his debut.
Yeah, that's a great lap from Top Lobster. He's up into third down here in Kota, and yeah, out qualifying his championship leader teammate Scones. So he can fight from there, and who knows what can happen to turn 1 here in Kota. So yeah, but it looked like Ledanes should have really got pole there without his turn 20 wide moment, but it's United who takes pole, and it's a good pole. He got it in early, but it was able to stick all throughout that last few minutes of the session.
What a great end to qualifying that was. We've got a great grid as well. United taking his first pole in TFR eSports, but look how close it is. That top 4, there is nothing in that. And like I say, we're going to have a great race. Vertex without a lap on the board as well. We don't know what his pace is going to be. It looks like we've got a good scrap for P5 as well with Ollie and Alfie there. Then they could also have better race pace, so they could also bring themselves into the fight. We know Raheem, he was the race winner in Australia. We know he surely has more pace to show. But that is the end of the F3 US Grand Prix qualifying. And it is indeed United who is on pole for Mercedes. And Mercedes' streak keeps going. And a great lap from him there, Ewan.
Yep, exactly. And there's only 1/10 and a bit between the top 4. So very close at the end there. And only 3/10 between the top 5. So very close. And yeah, very interesting. It's going to be a close race based on qualifying. And yeah, a great lap from United, and Ledanes will be kicking himself. He hasn't got pole here, but Kota is a track where you can make moves, and on lap 1 into turn 1 we've seen in real life loads of moves from P2 on the grid, so anything can happen, and Ledanes still has lots of chances going into this race.
Absolutely, and like you were mentioning earlier, Ewan, that run into turn 1 is very tricky, and for the leader, it's a very tough one to kind of negotiate and keep your nose clean, because there's going to be all sorts of attacks coming from behind.
Yep, exactly. It's going to be tough to keep everyone behind, but United just needs a good launch and then cover off the inside and cover off enough for them to come down the inside of him. But yeah, it's going to be tough because it's so wide down into turn 1, so there's so many lines you could take, even run the outside and get the switchback like Leclerc did in real life. So we'll see how it goes, but It's going to be interesting. It's going to be chaotic. It's uphill run down into turn one.
Absolutely. If last minute, if you could pick inside or outside, which one are you going to go for?
Always inside. Gotta send it.
I think that's the thing as well. If you go to the outside, you have the risk of other people on the inside getting it wrong and clattering into you. So let's find out then. It's once again a long wait in F3 for them to get it going. They like to take their time with the setups and strategies. It is only a 25% distance race tonight, so it's going to be fast and furious. And let's see what is going to happen in this F3 round 4. Here in Austin, Texas. We've got 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. And we are underway. It's a good start from Ledanes there. He has got a great launch, and he is already ahead of United before the first corner. You've got Scones as well with a great start, having a look down the inside. They all keep it fairly clean. They've got a McLaren off in the background, but it is Ledanes who takes the lead from United. And the 2 Aston Martins are wheel to wheel there, coming out of turn 2, and they are still side by side. And Tob Lobster has got back ahead of Scones. So a great recovery there from Tob Lobster, and he, like I say, ahead of his arguably quicker rival on those soft tyres as well, his teammate. And Alfie also jumping ahead of Ollie Bean, but a pretty good start from all around there, Ewan.
Yeah, and what a great launch from the Danes, doing what he had to do and recovering from his mistake in qualifying. So he's done a good job, and Top Lobster still holding on against Scones, but he's on the mediums against the softs. So I won't be surprised if Scones looks to go for a send at any moment now. But yeah, Ledanes takes the lead of this race, and he's looking good at the moment.
Speaking of ascend, we've got the 2 McLarens also scrapping just behind those lot, because we've got Raheem with Ollie Bean there. There's a real mix of strategies here, because the top 2 then are on soft tyres, but then we've got Tob Lobster on the medium, so too is Alfie. A little slide down from United, getting a bit too hot on the pedal, and that's just going to allow the Aston Martins to come right at him through this part of the track. Tob Lobster very wide there through that corner. He won't want to do that again, because the car will give way eventually, but it's still all fairly close here. At the end of the first lap, everybody is still stuck together, and DRS will be enabled this time around.
Yep, at this moment the softs will have more inherent grip than the mediums at this point, so the soft runners like Scones and Ollie Bean should be making moves soon, because in a few laps those soft tyres will be going off. Here in Costa it's a high degradation track, so they need to make moves, and it looks like Alfie Nerfboy actually on the mediums is pressuring Scones at the moment.
And just as you say that, he gets himself a penalty. Of course, commentator's curse strikes again. But Scones, you're right, was struggling a little bit there with Alfie all over him in that first sector. And like you're saying, with a tyre wear at this track, you've got to be very careful not to overheat those tyres by pushing too much at the start. Top Lobster then's got a good old run at United here. Has both got DRS, they've both got slipstream, they might both have a go at Ledanes here. They're 3 wide down the main straight, and this is surely going to end in contact, and I think it has. United's been pushed off the circuit. Ledanes is going to somehow keep the lead here. Tob Lobster then it's the big gainer, and it makes contact. That's the Mercedes there of United, I think, has pirouetted him around, and he is down into 8th with Scones now battling away with Alfie for 2nd, and Alfie switched right around the outside and is up into 2nd place.
Yep, it was 3 wide going into turn 12 for the race lead, and that was always going to be carnage, and it was, and that's a great shame for Tob Lobster. He was looking very comfortable, so well with those mediums going for the lead, but getting tagged round by United, and United is really having a scruffy race at the moment from pole down to P4, so it's not looking good for him, but this has opened the gap for Ledanes. Speaking
of United, he's just made contact with Scones there into the first corner. He's now round and is now down the order behind Vertex, behind Top. He's going to be last at this rate. He is now down into 11th. Just saw a gap that probably wasn't quite there, and then that is him now down the order, joining Tob Lobster, and Scones is really struggling here. Look at that, he's been picked off now by Ollie Bean, and he is really struggling on those soft tyres. Both McLarens are going to get him here before the next corner, and in the space of a lap, this has gone from a great start for Aston Martin to an absolute disaster, Ewan.
Yeah, Scones is struggling, but he gets the switchback on Raheem, and it's going to be a drag race down into turn 12 at the moment. But yeah, Scones, your championship leader, is really struggling at the moment. He's going to have to try be passive, but he's going to try go round the outside of the two McLarens. It's not going to work out for him. Raheem back ahead, but Scones goes into the back of Raheem, punts him off a little bit, and it's going to be close down into turn 13. Will Scones go for a dive? No, he's already hit the back of Raheem, so he decides to just be patient, but Scones is really struggling.
Yeah, I mean, you'd argue you might as well get in the pits and get on a set of hard tyres or mediums to go to the end from here, because he's absolutely all over the shot at the moment. He's not coming in. Nobody's coming in this early, but the soft tyres are on an absolute knife edge here. You could just see even the McLaren there of Raheem coming out the final corner, sliding his way, and he's going to have another go at his teammate here, you would imagine. Sits tight for now. Maybe had a little think about it, and he actually forces his teammate a little bit wide there. He might actually now try and hang it right around the outside into this next corner. No, switches it back to the outside for the next one. Can't find a way through. United has also picked off Ellis right at the back, and I think he's actually made contact once again with another car because he's failed to get past that RB. So dramatic start to this one here in Kota, despite the first lap, Ewan, not exactly being too crazy. It's just all came alive in the last 3 laps or so.
Yeah, exactly. It all came alive on lap 2 with that 3 wide moment, and yeah, that completely changed this race and brought carnage to this race, as the two McLarens are looking pretty tidy at the moment, but Raheem will be looking to make moves soon. But yeah, this race has completely opened up, and Alfie Nerfboy is looking right on the back of Ledanes, and they're going to be side by side for the race lead. Alfie Nerfboy with that penalty, but it doesn't stop him from going for it. He almost goes down the inside, but Ledanes holds that lead for now, but they're going to be side by side in the last sector.
Yeah, a good exit, it seemed initially for Alfie, but he couldn't quite get the second phase there, and has to just sit behind Ledanes once more. We've got battles left, right and centre, because United and Ellis are once again going at it down in 10th place, and he still can't get past that RB. But on to lap 5 here. Alfie will have a right old go into the first corner, you'd imagine, if he gets a good enough run, and there he goes. He's going to breeze past the Williams of Ledanes. Ledanes might just save that for later on down the main straight. They make contact though on the exit of the first corner, and Ledanes now will come back at him right around the outside. They're going to go wheel to wheel here, the pair of them, for the lead, and who is going to yield? It has to be Alfie in the end, and Ledanes takes back the position, but he did make contact on the way of doing that, so he could find himself in the stewards later on.
Yeah, it's clear those mediums have absolutely fired up now, and they have the pace as the softs have started to degrade at this point. So Alfie Nerfboy is only 2 tenths back, going on to this long straight, back straight, and it's close on the inside there. But Alfie Nerfboy will have the run, but will he have enough to get clean past the Danes?
Yeah, we've got another yellow flag. There goes Alfie then for the lead. Easy pass with the DRS. And, well, that is job done for him then, into the lead of this race. We've got another move behind. That's Todd Lobster recovering nicely here ahead of Sci-Fi Mega Hype. That was indeed United again making contact with Ellis there, which has sent him spinning around. So it goes from bad to worse for the pole man. Oh, it's Todd Lobster there, has a massive snap of oversteer coming out of that corner. And, well, where do we go from here? Todd Lobster now recovering very nicely on these medium tyres, and he's not too far off the pace here. He's only about, if I change the thing, he's about 5 seconds off, and we've got Ledanes in the pit lane.
Yep, Ledanes in the pits on those softs, and it looks like it's the start of the soft runners going into the pit lane. Let's see how Ledanes pit stops works out here in Kota. He comes in, and this is crucial for Ledanes' race. He's got out 2.2 seconds, let's just say, and he's back out on track, and this will trigger the undercut, but Alfie Nerfboy later in this race will have those soft compound tyres. It's going to be close into turn
they've
1.
Touched! Jesus! I mean, what on earth was Ellis? Well, I'm not too sure what the pair of them were doing there, because you could just see that was about happen there, and Ledanes absolutely sent spinning around there. I mean, he was quite far ahead, you'd have to say. I mean, the RB came swinging around. I mean, what did you make of that, Ewan?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Ellis did Ellis did have the right to the corner. I feel like he was already turning, and the Danes tried to hang it side by side. And I feel like, based on the real life rules we're racing by, I feel like there was no room for the Danes, but that looked a bit clumsy. And what is clumsy is Ollie Bean and Top Lobster side by side. Ollie Bean on the outside, Top Lobster sending it on the inside on those fresher medium tyres. That was a little bit deep, and Ollie Bean is going to send it right back around the outside. He can't hang it on those soft compound tyres, and Top Lobster gets out to third.
Great move from Top Lobster. He got it done in the end. It wasn't the greatest camera angle. I don't know, both diving in the pits. Top Lobster then dives in the pits. If he can get that slowed down, oh my word. I think the pair of them almost hit the barrier there. And there's a bit of contact coming in the pits as well between Raheem and Top Lobster. So Top Lobster pitting quite early on these medium tyres and should be okay to go straight to softs. No, he's going to hard tyres for this final stint. That is an interesting gamble, and I tell you, if Epic the Animal was commentating here, he'd be losing his mind seeing that right now. But they're coming down the pit straight. Let's see. Scones is right there, and I think he's going to be in a fantastic position here, because there he is. There's the McLaren, there's the Aston Martin as well, trying to make the move. It's absolute chaos here. Ellis has jumped a bunch of them, pitting so early, and oh my word, Top Lobster with a snap there coming out of the first corner on those cold hard tyres. It's absolute chaos here, Ewan.
Yeah, what was he thinking going on to hards? That was the wrong decision, and I think he's going to pay the price. His tyres are cold, as you saw, as he returned out the pit lane. The mediums and softs are the race tyre here in the 25% races. He has a little bit of a half spin, as his tyres are still getting up to temperature, and he's down to P8. This is a stinker of a decision from Top Lobster. His inexperience showing, and he's down to P8, and that's going to be a tough old road home, and Ladanes is looking close.
Epic the Animals just said on the stream chat, I just screamed with that tyre call. And I am not surprised. So there's another move in the background. That's Top Lobster then on those hard tyres, making the pass on Sci-Fi Mega Hype on those medium tyres. The Haas is coming back at him though, right around the outside, and they again make a little bit of contact. And there's Ladanes right there as well. Another snap from the Aston Martin. He switches it back to the inside though. Great racing between the pair of them. If they're not careful though, they're going to get picked off by Ladanes. Ollie Bean is in the pit lane up the road, but Top Lobster is going to hang on here somehow. I mean, I thought that was done and dusted in terms of getting repassed, and Scones is also now up in, well, I think he's up ahead because Vertex has dived in the pit lane. So let's keep an eye on the gaps, because Alfie is still out there. Ollie Bean then coming out the pits behind his teammate, and I think he's going to be quite behind and in the middle of this pack, Ewan.
Yep. Oh,
my word.
Mega Hype going down the inside and very deep, and the Aston Martin Top Lobster's getting the switchback, but Sci-Fi has this inside and going to be side by side into VS's. Oh, and the Haas has to back out, and the Danes gets through. Sci-Fi Mega Hype going down the inside deep, but going passive, and that's the V-Cub of Ellis getting out the way of Ollie Bean, and this is a huge pack, and this is for Provisional P1.
What a race. What a race this is in F3. And there's another move potentially from Ladanes. He's all over the tail of the Aston Martin. He's going to sit tight. No, he's not. He's going to chuck it down the inside. I mean, that's F3 in a nutshell in this one for you, because he's got the DRS coming up here. He might have just lost it, you know. I think he'll have it. No, he will. He's got it. So he's got that to defend with. But Top Lobster with a slipstream is coming right back at him. And look at the Haas right behind as well. They made more contact, these two. Top Lobster is absolutely chucking it down the inside. Almost forces the Williams off the track. He's made more contact with the Haas there as well. And these four, I mean, they're losing a hell of a lot of time, because they were once again absolutely going at it here. There goes Sci-Fi again around the outside on the switchback. Almost takes the McLaren with him, but he's going to get Top Lobster. What an exit from the Haas. And he's made the move eventually, Ewan.
Yep, and all of this is helping Alfie Nerfboy, who peels into the pit lane onto the softs. All that lost time, helped by his teammate Sci-Fi Mega Hype, is going to help him, and he's going to be maybe ahead of the Dane Sci-Fi Mega Hype and Top Lobster. It's going to be tight. Let's see how it goes.
He's okay. He is out clear, and there's another move in the background as well. Top Lobster again defending like his life depends on it, ahead of Ollie Bean, and he's made contact. He's going to hit the wall, and he's not got any damage, which is a minor miracle there. But Top Lobster putting on a show, but just could not control those hard tyres once again there. But Alfie now, like you're saying, Ewan, he has that penalty, but on those soft tyres, he's in the prime position now to win this race, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to do that.
Yeah, exactly. He has that penalty that he needs to overcome, and on those soft tyres, you'd expect him to make the moves. And the Danes, with all this fighting with Sci-Fi Mega Hype and Top Lobster, it looks like they're giving Alfie Nerfboy this win, even with his penalty. So we'll see how it goes. Alfie Nerfboy still behind Raheem at this current point, but Alfie Nerfboy really needs to get past soon because the Danes will be on his tail any time now.
Oh, and there goes Alfie then to the outside on the McLaren. And on the switchback, look how much more grip he's got on those soft tyres. Is he going to be brave here and swing it right around the outside? No, he's going to switch it back on a corner like this. And he might just pull it off, And I think he will, although the McLaren's going to get late on the brakes. But Alfie then moves up into second place with a brilliant overtake there. He had the better grip. He's just had to set it up nicely. And now he's got a clear sight of the race leader. But he's running out of laps, Ewan.
Yeah, what a great move from Alfie Nerfboy, but he needs to reap the rewards of these soft tyres, which do seem like the best tyres at the moment, and getting past Alfie Rahim was crucial, and now he sets his sights on Scones, your championship leader, who is still in this race, and is still in this race to win, so Alfie Nerfboy needs to get past Scones quickly to overcome that 3-second gap, so it's actually looking like Scones looks like the man to beat here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Scones then, so that earlier pit stop is really benefited him massively here. And we've got a yellow flag actually in that middle sector. So I don't know what's quite happened there, who that is. I wonder if that might have been Tob Lobster again or someone like that. It's quickly gone away though. And we continue on. But so Raheem has been distanced by Alfie. We'll have to keep an eye on that battle for the lead. We've then also had a bit of a gap formed between some of these drivers in the midfield. And Tob Lobster is recovering again quite nicely here, though. He is starting to catch the McLaren of Ollie Bean. And you can be absolutely guaranteed there's going to be fireworks once again there, Ewan.
Yep, after 3 laps, the hards are finally starting to awake and get off after it. Oh, and he's having a spin as we speak about him. He's into the barriers, into the grass, and as I speak about him, where he was just coming alive, he's into the barriers and down to P9, so those hards really not working, and the frustration with his wheel is really showing. So that's Tob Lobster out of contention in this race. He's brought us great entertainment, but really struggling with some consistency in this race.
Yeah, Vertex has just spun himself. No damage on that car, but well, a real shame for those two. And yeah, Tob Lobster now, I mean, he is way off the pace. But Scones then out front. That gap is coming down quite quickly here. And Alfie has to do something, and very, very soon, because we only have about 2.5 laps, 3.5 laps to go here. And Alfie needs to catch past Scones and then get 3 seconds, Ewan. It's looking unlikely.
Yeah, Alfie isn't really reaping the rewards of the soft tyres as much as I would expect. Those soft tyres are the better tyre, and Scones with the oldest tyres of everyone except Northie. So Alfie Nerfboy is really not using those soft tyres to their advantage. So, and Scones, you've got to say, is doing a great job up in front and holding this lead, and as much as this holding lead will help him in the latter stages when he needs to hold for a 3-second gap to Alfie.
For those curious about the Darky Award, it's not Ellis that's taking that at the minute, it is Ollie Bean. Although Ellis is causing quite a few yellow flags there. He's got going once again. But we're about to start lap 12 then, 3 laps to go. Alfie still does not have DRS here. And unless he can force Scones into a mistake, at the minute Alfie's not even going to finish second in this race. So you've really got to somehow find some pace from somewhere. But I think what we're seeing here, Ewan, is the soft tyres are a good quality tyre and you've got the pace over 1 lap, but they're actually pretty awful for the race.
Yeah, it seems like the softs really just lose grip after just a few laps. So after 3 laps, Alfie Nerfboys are already struggling, and another 3-second penalty, which is going to rub the salt in the wounds and finish this fight for the win, as Alfie Nerfboy won't be able to overcome 6 seconds because you can't even get in the DRS of Scones at the moment. So it's looking good for Scones, but he just needs to get it home and hold it.
You know what? He might be in trouble for even finishing on the podium here, Alfie. And Todd Lobster makes another driver with a penalty. Ellis gets a 10-second penalty for spinning in the pit lane. And there is a move in the background. That is Ollie Bean then with a great run on Sci-Fi Mega Hype and breezes past the Haas. So up into the top 5. He does have a penalty, though, of 9 seconds. So he really has to get a move on and get 6 seconds to Sci-Fi. United and Northey, they're having a battle themselves. And, well, Northey could still get a solid result here because of the penalties that are at play. He could still gain a position or two come the end of this race. So we'll keep an eye on that. Alfie is in the DRS then as we start the penultimate lap. But it's a bit of a lost cause at the minute.
Yeah, exactly. Northey, without our penalties, is actually very positive for him because a lot of people have penalties in this race. Kota is hard with keeping it within track limits through the S's section, and in the last sector it's also very tricky. But yeah, we have Scones up in front, your championship leader, and he's really just found himself at the front after everyone fighting hard in that middle part of this race. So Scones is looking good, and Raheem is looking like he's going to get a podium, maybe even P2, if Alfie Nerfboy can't get more than 2.7 seconds ahead.
Yeah, I think Raheem is looking good for a P2. I think Ledanes is still looking good for a podium here. And, well, this is going to be really annoying for Alfie, you'd have to say, with those penalties, because, well, it's just going to be a lost opportunity. He was looking so good for potentially winning this race tonight. But you'd have to say the right strategy, Ewan, in the end, probably was going onto those soft tyres to mediums, because Scones was struggling so much on those softs at the start, but he took the pain and then he's massively gained from that in the second half of the race.
Yep, he left the best tyres to the end, and that is a strategy used quite commonly, and he's used them to his advantage. He stayed out of the chaos and carnage of behind, and yeah, he's really just sat quietly and getting off those Sokanban tyres early, and just using the pace of the medium tyres has seemed, in hindsight, to be the better strategy, to get off those softs as soon as possible and just use these mediums that don't degrade as severely as the softs. So as Ellis is mowing the grass in Sector 1, as he is almost being lapped by the front runners. So yeah, Scones leading this race 1.6 seconds up the road from Alfie Nerfboy, using those mediums to his advantage and using his experience of these races to his advantage, as he's played this strategy to perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair play to Scones. He has drove brilliantly tonight, and it's going to be a sweet victory for him. Alfie is absolutely not going to be on the podium here. He is just not finding enough time, and those penalties are going to be very, very costly for him, because it's going to be more points dropped. But this man here has had a rocky start to this race, but he's recovered brilliantly, and despite having a real scrap for the win in Singapore and potentially throwing that away with his mistake, he at the minute is going to pick up his first ever victory in TFR eSports. We've had a few of those already this season, and Scones is going to add his name to the list here in F3. He rounds the penultimate corner. He's got the final corner to go. And we are going to have 4 different winners from 4 races here in F3. Scones wins the US Grand Prix with a fantastic drive there to recover to win. Raheem is second. Alfie drops down to 4th. Ledanes picks up a brilliant podium after the race he had and the contact he had earlier on. And it's Haas then in 4th and 5th. They can be pleased with those points at their home race, but it could have been so much more. Ollie Bean is 6th in the end. United, the pole sitter, down in 7th, and Northey then lost a bit of time on that final lap or so, will come home in 8th with Todd Lobster and the 2 cars behind him following up the pack. But I tell you, Ewan, it was a different kind of race in the second half of that one, but I thought the first part of that race was absolutely brilliant to watch.
Yep, there was lots of good racing in that pit stop sequence when everyone went into the pits and then came out right next to each other. And with Top Lobster on those hard compound tyres, it really boiled up a great middle part of this race. And yeah, Scones with the win, extending his championship lead, and it's a great win for him, a great confidence boost going into the rest of the season. And Raheem, he was almost overtaking Alfie Nerfboy on track at the end there, so that shows the pace drop of those soft compound tyres on 6 lap old tyres. So yeah, Scones does what he has to do to win this race, and the Danes gets on the podium, so that's not a bad effort from him.
Yeah, he'll be pleased with that. And it's damage limitations for him. With Scones leading the championship and now a race winner, those behind, they've just got to do what they've got to do to just keep that gap there, because it's a long season. And as we saw there, it was a chaotic race. And Scones did not look like he was going to win that one, the first part of it. And I genuinely mean that. He did not. But in the end, he made it count. And despite also not great qualifying, he's really had to work for that race. But it just shows the strategy and the timing is absolutely vital here in F3, because there was so much battling going on. He pitted early and he just got out of the way of all that chaos.
Yep, he perfected the strategy, and I think that's what won him this race today. He knew to get off those softs nice and early to reap the rewards of the medium tyres, which were the tyre to be on and were the tyre to have most of your laps on. So, yeah, he's your deserved winner today, and it was looking good for Alfie Nerfboy, but those soft compound tyres really just didn't get started and didn't have what it takes to win this race, and with the 6 second penalty it really didn't help. So yeah, a great win for Scones.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we did get the results at the end there, but we ran through them anyways at the end of the race. So it's Scones who wins then here in F3, making it 4 different winners from 4 races, and it just extends his lead, his early lead that he has at the top of the standings. And it's going to be fascinating to see who is going to be able to stop him. It looks like the Danes is potentially the closest rival for now, but who knows with F3? It could change all around already by next week. But next week we have the Canadian Grand Prix, so it's another North American race before we then head to Monaco, which is going to be an interesting one with F3. But thank you, Ewan, for joining me on the commentary box tonight. We're going to dash off now, but I've been CJH, you've been yourself, and we'll be back for the next one. And that's a wrap.